Hey guys, this is week 60, and this week on the channel we're talking about sweetheart self-care. This is kind of a bad topic for me because I'm really bad at taking care of myself, unfortunately. I really need to get better at that because it's wearing me thin. I'm sure a lot of you have read my recent posts on Facebook and about the difficult situations and difficult times that I've been having, not only in the relationship but in just life in general right now is really stressing me out. So in terms of self-care, when I do have the time and I remember to take care of myself, I really enjoy reading. I read anything from fiction to books about feminism or gender studies, or what else am I reading right now? Mental illness is a huge one for me. I have a huge passion for people with mental illness challenges. So I'm going through for social service work, and that's a field that I'm really interested in, so I'm often reading those kind of books. What else do I like to do? Sleeping is always good. Sleeping is probably the best way to go get rid of crappy feelings. Basically, just go to bed and wake up and hopefully you'll feel better. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, I guess. And I tend to drink a lot when I'm stressed out. That's not a good coping mechanism though, so don't take my word for that and start drinking because you're sad or you're going through something with your partner. I just tend to do it because I don't really have an escape where I am right now. I have a lot of obligations with school and work and placement and schoolwork and training, and just a billion things are really piling up on me right now, so I haven't really had the chance to kind of get away and do something just for me that's not related to the relationship or the transition or anything like that. What else did I write down here? I usually also like to go home. I actually live in Brampton. I moved here to be with Seth and to go to school, so whenever I can and I have the time, I like to go home and spend time with my mom and my kitties. I wanted to do that this weekend, but I wasn't able to because I found out that I have to work both days, unfortunately. Would have been awesome if I could have gone home, but shit happens. What can you do? But it's really, really important to take time for yourself where you're not, as Emily mentioned, you can either be by yourself completely or just with your partner and not in a mind frame of talking about anything trans related, because it can get very draining and it can start to feel like you're not important, or yeah, basically like you're not important, like what you say has no value, or it's not as important because it's not as big a deal as transitioning. There was a point in our relationship where it seemed like all that Seth talked about was this transition, and like up until a certain point it was okay, but then it got to a point where I was like, every time he called I was like, okay, I don't really want to talk about this anymore, but at the same time I didn't really want to say anything because it was a sensitive topic and it was new for him, and I tried to be supportive and understanding, so I didn't want to necessarily say, hey, I know this is important to you, but I don't really want to talk about it right now because I've heard so much about it that I just feel like I'm drowning in it. I probably should have, but it didn't really end up turning into a problem anyway. He doesn't really do that anymore. I think being the partner of a trans person, you're pretty much always going to have those conversations, or get to that point where, I don't know, there might be so many conversations that are trans related in a period of time. It just goes along with the nature of the relationship. Maybe not as much the older you get. I would assume once you're like 50, there's probably not a whole lot to discuss other than maybe some studies that you've read up on or things like that. But generally people that are older have already been through a lot of the surgeries or a lot of the adjustments that come along with transitioning. So I'm sure that it gets, I don't want to say better, but it dissipates as you get older, I'm sure. And the longer that you've been on T or transitioning. But yeah, it's so important to take time for yourself and to communicate to your partner that you just need time to be on your own, to do your own thing, to be involved in something that is not related to your partner or to transitioning or the trans community in general. It's really important to get away from that. It's very draining. It's the same with social work. In any realm of social work, it's very draining. And they teach that a lot in school. They teach us so much about self-care and how important it is to do something that you love, that's just for you, that can take your mind off of things, or that can help you to relax and kind of let the stress of the day or the week melt away. But again, it's really hard as a student to do that. So I'm sure a lot of you have experienced that or are experiencing that right now. But yeah, basically just take a book and read somewhere, or lock yourself in the bathroom and do your nails and have a bath. Like, do something for you that makes you feel good about yourself and makes you forget about everything that's going on in the world around you, whether it's related to your relationship or not. It's really important. So I think that's all that I really have to say on the topic. Like I said, I'm really bad at taking care of myself. It's in my nature. It's kind of why I'm becoming a social worker. I like to take care of other people, so I need to get better at that. But yeah, so I think that I'm done for now, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.